Hello, students. Welcome to the English class. We have started with the explanation, line wise explanation of a new poem from Flamingo, A Thing of Beauty. In my last video lecture, we have completed till From Our Dark Spirits. I have explained in my video lecture that the poet says that beauty needs to be appreciated. And once we appreciate the beauty, beauty's loveliness increases. Isn't it? The poet has also emphasized on the fact that beauty is a source of joy, right? That beauty, the loveliness of beauty will always increase. It is ever increasing. It can never pass to nothingness. That means it can never decrease. In the process of explaining beauty, the poet has also described some of the beautiful things, right? Like bower, then sweet dreams, healthy body. These things are all internal beauty, right? And the poet has also provided us with list of painful objects, isn't it? Like gloom, despondency, then unhealthy nature, then lack of noble nature, right? Next, we will see that the poet is providing us with the list of beautiful objects. So let's start with the explanation. Right. As I have told you that we have done till from our dark spirits, today in this video lecture we will start from such the sun. So from here in what we find is that from here in we will see the list of beauty. Okay, the list of beautiful objects. Right? Okay. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep. So, what does the poet say? Such the sun, that means such as the sun, means when the poet says that some shape of beauty. Okay, now what shapes of beauty? The poet is giving us the example. Okay, such as the sun, okay, the moon, trees old and young means old and young trees. So sun is one beautiful object, moon is another beautiful object. Another thing is old and young trees. Now what are old and young trees doing? They are sprouting. They are sprouting. Sprouting means they are producing, they are developing, or they are giving. What are they giving? They are giving a shady boon. Boon means what? Boon means blessing. Okay, so the the trees old and young, they are giving us shady blessing. To whom? For simple sheep. Okay, simple sheep. What is the meaning of simple sheep here, or whom is the poet actually referring to? Simple sheep, it is us. Okay, that is the creature of the earth. Okay, so to us this trees, whether they are old or young, they are giving shade. Okay, they are providing a shade to us. Okay, and such are daffodils. The poet is continuing. Okay, not only sun, moon, and trees, but also the daffodils. Right? Daffodils is a kind of flower, beautiful flower. Okay, such are daffodils with the green world they live in. Green world they live in, of course, here refers to the green leaves, the forest, okay, the entire greenery around. Okay, so here the poet says about the daffodils, the greenery that surrounds them, right? The green world they live in, and clear reels that for themselves a cooling covert make. So the poet is also saying that another beautiful thing is the cool and clear streams which provide respite in the heat of summer, and the in the okay, that is, as the poet says here, cooling covered make gainst the hot season. What is the meaning of gainst? Gainst means against. Okay, so the cooling covered here, cooling reels means what? Reels means it's a small stream. Okay, reels means it's a stream. Okay, that for themselves a cooling covert make, right? Covert means what? Covert is a kind of shelter. Okay, now shelter, what? Shelter of bushes. Okay, covered means shelter of bushes. Reels means stream and covered means shelter of bushes, right? So what does the poet says? Clear reels, that means clear streams, that for themselves means they are creating a cooling covered, a cooling shelter against the hot season. Okay, when it is the summertime or extremely hot season, this small stream, they are creating a very cooling effect on the surrounding nearby. Okay. Next, the mid forest break, right? Now what is a break? Break is mid means middle, okay, and break means it's a kind of thicket, a thick mass of ferns. Okay, so here we find that mid means middle. Okay, mid forest break, mid forest break means in the middle of the forest when there is a break. Break means a thicket, okay, or a thick mass of ferns, right, or a dense undergrowth of ferns or other bushes, right? So that is also beautiful, the mid forest break, rich with a sprinkling of fair mask blooms. Okay, so in these thickets, in this mid forest thicket, what do we find? We find the rich with sprinkling of fair mask blooms. So in this break means, as I have told you, thick ferns. Okay, thick mass of ferns. Okay, in between this thicket there are what? There are mask rose, beautiful mask rose are blooming. Okay, so that is also beautiful, right? And okay, now what I want to say is that till here, starting from such the sun, okay, starting from such the sun, continuing till this much, that is mask rose bloom. Okay, till this much we find that the poet is talking about nature, the beauty, okay, the beauty which is available in the nature or which we can see in the nature, right? From here onwards, the poet says beauty in what? In character, or what we can say beauty in noble nature. Okay, in human, nobility in human. Okay, that is where do we have beauty? In the human being, inside the human being. Okay, so let's start. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms. What is the meaning of dooms? Dooms means what we can say ruins, okay, or what we can say destruction, right? So here the poet says, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. That means the poet adds here further to the list, according to him, there is beauty even in death. Okay, like we have he says that we find beauty in imaginary stories that people have made about our dead ancestors, okay, who were deemed as heroic and mighty, right? Okay, to make it more simple, if I can say, like if we think about our dead forefathers, or let's make it more simple, when we think about our revolutionary freedom fighters, they have died, isn't it? They have sacrificed their life for the sake of whom? For the sake of us, for the sake of our country, isn't it? So their doom means death. Okay, so their death has been compared to be as a grandeur. Grandeur means something which is grand, okay, something which is very much noble. Okay, so their mighty deeds, okay, their heroic and courageous deeds, okay, or their sacrifice of life, that is also a kind of beauty, isn't it? So, as I have told you in the initial few list, he has told about the beauty which is external, which we can see in the nature, and from here on we find the beauty which is in the noble character or the noble nature of human being, right? Okay, we have imagined for the mighty dead all lovely tales that we have heard or read, Okay, the poet goes on to say that all the lovely tales that we have heard, okay, can also be placed among such things of beauty. Okay, so we have heard so many tales, like when we were small child, we have heard tales from our mother or grandmother about fairy tales or beautiful tales of heroic deeds, and so many stories and tales we have heard. Those tales are also beautiful, right? An endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heaven's brink. Now, these two lines are very important. Okay, here you know the entire poem is written in couplets. Okay, now what are couplets? What do you mean by couplets? Couplets means when two lines, two words, okay, two words of the ending, the two ending words of a line matches with another one, right? So, students, as it is being told that these two lines, the last two lines, are very important. An endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heaven's brink. Here, this last couplet of the poem brings out the real definition of beauty. We have been seeing the list of beauty. The poet has been saying that how beauty affects us. Now, these two lines can be considered as the definition of beauty. Now, what does the poet say? The poet says that all the beautiful things have a sublime effect on the human spirit. Okay, in these last two lines, the poet defines beauty that all beautiful things are like an endless fountain, okay, from the heavens, okay, fountains of immortal drink, right? Fountains of So, as the poet says, that beauty is everlasting, and as it creates an eternal joy in the beholder, so it is an endless fountain. Okay, it's endless fountain from the heaven. Now, fountain of what? Fountain of immortal drink. Now, what is this immortal drink? Immortal drink here refers to the elixir of life. Okay, so this is the immortal, this is an immortal joy that is pouring down on us human being from the edge of the heaven's cliff, right? So it's an eternal joy, it is a bliss of heaven on her earth, right? Okay, pouring unto us from the heaven spring. So the poet here says that these words in order to explain the nature of the pleasure, okay, and joy that is created when a beautiful object is seen by a beholder. The poet here affirms the truth that beauty is not ephemeral but eternal. The pleasure we receive in perceiving a beautiful object is a gift that is worth treasuring, as the joy removes the gloom in our mind, right? So when the poet have started with the poem with the first line that thing of beauty is a joy forever, here he also ends the poem with the same line that it is a fountain of immortal drink. That means endless, it is an eternal source of joy. Students, I hope that you have understood the poem. Okay, I have completed the explanation of the poem as prescribed in your syllabus. Now, if there is any doubt, you can clarify your doubts in the classroom, right? Go through the poem minutely, see each line, go through each and every line, and if still there is any doubt, so you can clarify it, right? Study well then, students. Thank you, everyone.